Most nightmares end when you open your eyes, but some begin when you do. At exactly 3 o'clock every morning, a faint sound began to echo through a small, forgotten house at the edge of town. Tap, tap, tap. A soft, rhythmic knocking on glass, the kind of sound you could mistake for a branch in the wind or a loose shutter. But Emma knew it wasn't the wind. The sound came from her bedroom window. And the truth? The tapping wasn't coming from outside. Emma had moved into that house only 2 weeks before. It was an old rental, creaky floors, peeling wallpaper, and a silence so deep it pressed on your ears. The realtor had described it as charming. Emma thought it felt tired, the kind of house that remembered things. Still, it was affordable, and she needed a change. She had just left the city, the chaos, the noise, the constant reminders of a breakup she wanted to forget. Here, in this quiet little town, she could breathe again. The first few nights were uneventful. She unpacked, explored the neighborhood, watched the sunset through the old maple tree out front. Everything seemed fine until the third night. At exactly 3 in the morning, she woke up to a sound. Tap, tap, tap. 3 soft knocks on the glass beside her bed. She froze, staring at the shadowy outline of the window. Her pulse quickened. After a moment, she whispered to herself, "Probably just a branch." She rolled over, tried to sleep, but the sound came again. Same rhythm, same spot. By the 5th night, it had become routine. The tapping arrived like clockwork. 3 quick taps, a pause, then 3 more. Like someone, or something, was waiting for her to answer. Curiosity eventually overpowered fear. That night, Emma stayed awake, watching the digital clock by her bed. 2:59, and then 3 o'clock. Tap, tap, tap. Her breath caught in her throat. Slowly, she reached for the curtain and pulled it aside. A man was standing just beyond the glass. He didn't move. He didn't speak. Just stood there, hood drawn over his head, his face pale, his skin almost gray under the moonlight. His head tilted slightly to one side, like he was studying her, and his finger moved. Tap, tap, tap. Emma's body locked in place. Her lungs forgot how to breathe. For a long, horrible moment, she just stared at him, unable to scream, unable to move. Finally, she lunged for the lamp, switching it on. The light flooded the room. And he was gone. Outside, the yard was empty. The wind whispered through the grass. There was nothing but the curtains swaying gently from her sudden movement. The next morning, Emma convinced herself it had to be a trick of the light. Maybe a reflection. Maybe she had been dreaming. She checked outside, half expecting to find footprints in the dirt, but there was nothing. Just smooth, wet ground after last night's rain. Still, she couldn't shake the image, that pale face, those motionless eyes, that nodding finger. That night, she tried sleeping with the light on, but the tapping came again, louder this time, more deliberate. Tap, tap, tap. She shoved a chair against the window. She tried to ignore it, clutching her blanket like a shield. By morning, she hadn't slept a minute. Desperate, she called the police. 2 officers came the next day, polite but clearly skeptical. They walked the perimeter of the house, checking for signs of someone sneaking around. They found nothing. No footprints in the mud, no scuff marks on the siding, no sign anyone had been near her window at all. One officer crouched down, running his hand through the soft, wet soil beneath the window. If someone was standing here, he said, there'd be prints. You see this? It rained last night. You'd see something. But there was nothing. No indentation, no track. As if whoever Emma saw hadn't touched the ground at all. Before leaving, one of the officers said gently, "If you see him again, call us right away. Don't open the window. Don't try to confront him." But as they walked away, the other whispered almost under his breath, "No prints outside means one thing. Whoever it was, they were already inside." That sentence haunted her all day. That evening, she double-checked every door, every lock, every window. She even shoved a towel under the back door, as if that would help. When she finally lay in bed, the silence was deafening. Then, right on time, tap, tap, tap. Emma's eyes flew open, but this time something was different. The sound was hollow, closer, like it wasn't on the outside of the glass anymore. Her hands trembled as she sat up. She didn't pull the curtain back this time. She didn't want to see. But her eyes drifted toward the sound anyway. And that's when she noticed it. The tapping wasn't coming from the window pane. It was coming from inside the room. Emma froze. Her gaze moved slowly across the dark space and landed on the closet. The door was cracked open just slightly, revealing only a sliver of darkness inside. She rose from the bed, moving one shaky step at a time, trying to convince herself she was imagining it. But then she saw them. Faint smudges on the inside of the glass. Fingerprints. Long, greasy trails sliding downward, as if someone had just pressed their hand against it. She stumbled backward, grabbed her phone, and dialed 911. Her voice shook as she whispered into the receiver, "Someone's in my house." The dispatcher's voice was calm, steady. "Stay on the line. Help is on the way." Every second felt like an hour. Every creak in the floorboards made her heart stop. And then, in the reflection of the window, she saw it. Movement behind her. A dark shape, a flicker of motion near the closet. Emma turned slowly. The door creaked wider, and from the shadowed gap, a pale hand slid into view. Thin, trembling, fingers curling around the frame. She screamed. Sirens wailed outside. Red and blue lights flashed through the window. Officers burst through the door within seconds. But when they searched the house, the closet was empty. No intruder, no footprints, just that same smell, a faint, stale odor of dirt and damp wood. The fingerprints on the glass had already begun to fade. Emma moved out 2 weeks later. She told herself it was just stress, that her mind had filled in the blanks. but deep down, she knew what she saw. And sometimes, in the middle of the night, when she wakes up for no reason, she glances at the digital clock beside her bed. It always says 3 o'clock. She never hears the tapping anymore, but sometimes, just before she falls back asleep, she swears she can feel someone watching her from somewhere in the dark. Tap, tap, tap. So tell me, what would you do if the thing haunting you wasn't outside your window, but already inside your home? If this story gave you chills, make sure you subscribe to the channel, tap the notification bell, and comment below what you would have done if you were Emma. Until next time,